make sure you're strapped in and ready, because in this Oak Island real estate market update, I've got one particular stat that I'm going to share with you. I'll do a full market overview, but there's one particular stat in here that is putting us in a position that looks eerily similar to 2020 and 2021 numbers that really sent this market and markets across the country on a huge surge that really has never stopped. So I'm Brian Inskip with Surf Homes NC, and right now I'm out in front of a cool project that we've got going on in the Oak Island Wooded section. So we've got a duplex that's undergoing a full renovation. We've got crews hopping everywhere. This property is getting a full renovation and getting ready to come back on the market. So if you're looking for a cool investment property on Oak Island, this duplex has some really cool options to it, where you could full-time rent out one side, do short-term rentals on the other. You could short-term rent both sides, or you could rent one side and have one to use. So I love that duplex option on Oak Island. But let's talk a little bit about this Oak Island real estate market. So through the month of May, we're now in June, so through the month of May, average sales prices on Oak Island, that's always where we start off. We want to know what are prices doing. So we're up 0.2%. Okay, that's pretty leveled off year over year. So this time last year to today, prices have increased 0.2%. Last year we saw a little dip mid-year, but we've since come fully out of that. So we're right back where we were at this time last year in terms of pricing. Month over month, we did see an average of about $5,000 increase in average sales prices. So in the shorter term, it looks like that number's trending upward here as we get into the summer season. The new listings, this is that stat that I was telling you about in the very beginning that is pretty mind-boggling. So year to date, year over year, new listings on Oak Island is down 32.3%. That is a huge drop. That means that we're starting to get to the point where there's going to be a lot fewer houses to choose from if that number doesn't pick up. And this number is mirroring where it was at. This is a historic low for Oak Island, putting it right in line with where that number was at in 2020 and 2021 that really fired up the competition amongst buyers on Oak Island. So this number we're going to be watching really, really closely. If it continues to go down and we see even less inventory, that could trigger another surge of competition on Oak Island, which has a direct impact on pricing and negotiations for buyers. So if you're a buyer looking to buy on Oak Island, this is a number you want to pay attention to, because waiting could definitely cost you. This number was a big part of what happened in the market to really increase pricing over the last few years. But it could go either way. We could see this number start to pick back up. So if you're a seller, I mean, right now is really about as good as it's ever been on Oak Island, and possibly as good as it's going to get, at least in the near-term future, if you're thinking of buying on Oak Island. So if that's something that you're looking to do, let's get a conversation going and start lining out your options. But back to the market update. So homes for sale, that's down 2.6%. That's the active inventory on the market. So we saw a major slowdown in new listings last month, but the actual number of homes for sale at this moment is also down from last year. So we're going to see where that new listings number is for the current month. If it stays down and we're not replacing that inventory, then we're going to see a drastic reduction in the homes for sale number. Month over month, homes for sale was down 4.3%. So that's a pretty significant drop in just 1 month's time. Pending sales is actually up 24.5% over a year ago and down 15.2% month over month. So what that means is there's actually more homes under contract getting ready to close on Oak Island right now than a year ago, but there's less than last month, and that could have a direct correlation with that new listings number. If there's fewer homes coming on the market, it's safe to assume that there's going to be fewer homes going under contract and closing. Closed sales on Oak Island are up 18.5% over a year ago. And actually, this is a monster number, up 42.5% month over month. So what that means is over the last couple months, we've seen an increase in the number of homes going under contract. Buyers have been out there eating up the inventory, grabbing it up, which is putting us at our current inventory levels, but 42.5% in 1 month is a huge gain in the number of closed sales. So that's another indicator, along with that new listings number. If you're closing more properties and seeing fewer properties come on the market, that is a direct path to super low inventory levels, which increases competition for buyers. The next stat I want to talk about is days on market. So this is the length of time that it takes a property to sell or go under contract. Average days on market, this has been one of the bigger changes that we've seen over the past year on Oak Island, where homes were selling within hours even, or days, or certainly not much longer than a week over the past couple years. We have seen a 182% increase in the average time that it's taken properties to sell on Oak Island. Currently, we're sitting at an average of 79 days of market time. Now, some of that is carried over from last year, so properties that went under contract early this year that had accumulated days on market last year when there was a bit of a soft spot in the market. That is impacting this number directly. There's also some new construction properties included in that tend to have longer marketing periods when they're being marketed while it's under construction. But just in the last month, we also saw a 5-day increase in that average. So we went from 74 days to 79. While this definitely has an impact and means properties aren't selling as fast, they're still selling at higher values on average and pushing the prices. So a lot of this number can be impacted by a number of things. One is certainly buyer demand, but when you get inventory to really, really low levels and there's not a lot of options for buyers to choose from, they'll take their time more, waiting and hoping for that right or perfect property to come on the market. Sometimes it does, and sometimes you realize that you were just waiting as the market increased in pricing, and now your options are even more limited. So we definitely saw that scenario replay over and over again throughout the last couple years. So as that inventory continues to decrease, I would expect this number to continue to decrease as well with days on market with newer listings. So over the next few months, that would be my prediction, that we're going to see a major drop in the average days on market. And there's certainly still cases of properties that are selling extremely quickly within days or less than a week on Oak Island. Month supply of homes for sale. Okay, this is one way that we measure the inventory of real estate. So currently we're sitting at 2.2 months worth of inventory on Oak Island. That means that if we didn't bring any new properties on the market, it would take 2.2 months to sell everything that's out there at the current rate of sale. That is an increase of 22.2% over a year ago, and decreased slightly from the previous month. So that number is starting to trend downward. With those new listing numbers, you can expect this number to likely drop below 2 months worth of inventory within this month of June. Anything below 3, and some would argue 5 months worth of inventory, is considered to 100% be a seller's market. And we have not seen anything above 3 for a while. We were down into the 0.5%, half a month, and measuring inventory in weeks. So that number remains very, very low. The percentage of list to sale price. So again, this is the price that a seller is asking or a property is being marketed at versus the price that it actually sells for. So that number is down 2.8%. And like I've talked about in the last few months worth of market updates, that could give people an indication that prices might be coming down on Oak Island. And a lot of buyers will say that. They'll see that there was some negotiating done on properties for sale and think that that is an indicator that the market is going to crash or that prices are going to drop significantly. None of these statistics indicate any kind of pullback in market values, or certainly not a significant pullback in market values on Oak Island anytime soon. And with that average percent of list price, it's sitting at 97.2% right now, which is down about a percentage point from April, where we were at 98.6%, which is still great as a seller. But when you take all these stats together, which you have to do, you can't look at any of them just in isolation and think that you have a handle on the market. You have to look at the whole picture. So when I look at that list to sell price, but also factor in the fact that the average price has increased so dramatically year over year, and the price per square foot, which I'll get to here in a minute, both of those have increased. So even though sellers have done a little more negotiating than they were a year ago, they're still selling the property at a higher value. All right, now let's talk about the average price per square foot. This is a really good indicator of where properties are valued on Oak Island, and obviously this is going to vary widely depending on what type of property and where it's located on the island, but on average, the price per square foot is up 6.5% year over year. So we're sitting at an average of $424 a square foot on Oak Island. That factors in all types of properties. That's up 2.6% month over month from $413 a square foot. So if I'm a buyer right now, I'm looking at that and saying, man, if I wait, I may end up paying more for the property. And if I'm a seller, I'm saying, I'm looking at historically high sales price numbers, so I'm a pretty happy camper. Average price per square foot on the oceanfront, we've seen some monumental moves there with several listings coming up recently. And I say several because there's actually only been a few. That's pretty much all the oceanfront listings in the last couple months. But recently on the oceanfront, we've seen several properties crossing that $1,000 per square foot threshold, which historically we have not seen very often, only on a select few properties. So especially on the oceanfront, that average price per square foot is going to beat these average numbers by a long shot. Dollar close volume is the next thing I want to talk about in the last stat for this market update. So that's the total amount of real estate sold on Oak Island. We're up 18.3% year over year. So more real estate selling today than there was a year ago. Month over month, we had a huge jump, which mirrored the closed transaction figure. So we're up 43.6% month over month on closed volume. All right, so that wraps up our June market update. Again, I'm Brian Inskip with Surf Homes NC, and I hope you've enjoyed this update and that it's been informative and educational and useful for you. But if you're planning on doing something on Oak Island, whether it's selling a property or buying a property, maybe you're planning for the future and thinking about buying a property that you retire to in a few years, whatever you're thinking about doing, the best first step is always to give me a call, shoot me a text, shoot me an email so we can get a conversation started and I can help translate how this market data affects what your goals are and what you're wanting to do and help you put together a plan that is going to help you accomplish those as efficiently as possible and so that at the end you're winning. So that's always the first step. I do these market updates every single month. You know, check out my website, throw your email in there. I'll send it out to you in an email each month so you're not skipping a beat and you're staying up to date on the market. Or you can also follow my channel on YouTube. I post these on there each month along with some other cool, fun videos about Oak Island as well, so you can get to know more about the area. If you're just starting your home search, be sure to check out my Welcome to Oak Island video where I do a full overview of all the different types of real estate and areas on Oak Island. So if there's anything I can help you with or start a conversation about, just give me a call, shoot me a text, shoot me an email. We'll get that conversation going. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next monthly market update.